Hey, what is up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today, counting down to the big WWE's Monday Night Raw. Of course, last week we had the big draft. Last night we had Battleground. To me, honestly, this is the start of the new era of what is going to be going down with WWE as of right now with the brand split. Some guys on Raw, some guys on SmackDown. It's going to be a lot different. I keep having to sort of remind myself that I've gone through this once before, back in 2002. When they did the brand split, it was a really big kick in the pants to WWE at the time. They had just gone through the invasion where a lot of people thought that, they were down in the dumps, and even though they brought on all these WCW guys, wrestling really wasn't what it once was. And I mean, people have been saying this for a long, long time. Of course, if you're watching this, you're a big time wrestling fan, and you're probably never going to go away. But, some stuff happened on the pay-per-view last night. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I saw that Randy Orton and Chris Jericho highlight reel that never ended. It just kept going on and on. I turned on the show at about 7:30 because I thought that was what time the main event would start. And then I watched the main event later in the night. I really liked that match. Really surprised that Ambrose got the win. I don't know if they're trying to hold Reigns back because of the whole drug suspension thing. Honestly, in my opinion, would have put the title on Seth Rollins, but a lot of people are talking maybe they're going to be having Ambrose show up on Raw tonight, and maybe they're trying to give SmackDown a real big push because of the fact that they have the champion and it's going to be a must-watch show now. SmackDown's going to need a lot. They've got a good roster. They've got Ambrose, they've got Cena, and a whole bunch of other guys. But to me, honestly, always SmackDown is going to be SmackDown. It's never going to be the A show. It's never going to be the A- show. It's always going to be the B show, and sometimes even the C show. So we'll see what they can do to really kick it up. It being live on Tuesday nights is going to help. It's going to be a little bit more like must-watch television. But honestly, I'm not quite sure what's going to be going down. Not real sure about a lot of the big stuff that's going to be going down on Monday Night Raw, but the big thing that I'm looking forward to is the Finn Balor debut. I know that they sort of split the club up. They lost last night in their match with Cena, Enzo, and Kaz. Anderson and Gallows are going to be on Raw. AJ is going to be on SmackDown. They have said that basically they're not going to be defined by the rules of WWE, so maybe they'll be jumping back and forth to help out AJ Styles. I'm guessing that it's going to be AJ versus John Cena at the next pay-per-view, SummerSlam, in another one-on-one match, a lot like the last one that AJ was able to get the win in. I'm guessing that Cena's able to get his win back, even though it was in a six-man tag, but we'll see. God, I hope AJ wins the next match. Make that guy look like $1 million. I know Rollins is a really good number 1 pick for Stephanie, but honestly, in my opinion, I think AJ would have been a great number 2 pick. But Finn Balor coming on the scene, we'll have to see what this means. I don't even really know who I would put him in a match with and able to show off his talents, but hopefully it's going to be a big match. Hopefully it's going to be a big win, and it can really get the Finn Balor era kicked off in the WWE and see where it goes from there. I remember when he got brought into NXT, he was Hideo Itami's tag partner, and it looked like he was just sort of going to be a guy, and then all of a sudden that first takeover especially paints himself up and the demon is born, and Tommy's face when Balor came out was just beyond the point of crazy. Just looking at him like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it was like he had no idea that the demon was coming out. But we'll have to see what goes on with that. But Finn Balor being on Raw is going to be huge. I hopefully it's not like CM Punk's first title reign where he won it by cashing in the Money in the Bank. Hopefully he can get a real storyline, pushing himself to being the guy on Raw. Knowing how they do things in WWE, it's probably going to be a long progressive storyline of him getting a little bit of a push, being pushed back, pushed a little bit, pushed back. But I think that most people in WWE know that this guy is something special, and he is going to be one of the bright, shining stars in the future. So we'll see what goes on with that. Maybe you have the club surround him, have him be a heel. Honestly, in my opinion, from the stuff I've seen with him wrestling in New Japan, I think he's a better heel than he is a babyface. But I do know that, the Roman Reigns experiment didn't really work out the way that they wanted to, and they're still trying. But I wouldn't be surprised if Finn Balor might be the next guy that Triple H sort of taps Vince on the shoulder and says, this is the guy that you need to be pushing towards the top, and we'll see where it goes from here. That's what I would do. But you know, Finn working as a heel, working with Anderson and Gallows. You know, I don't know what you call them. Some people say they're going to be called Bulletproof. Maybe you can just keep the name of the club. Maybe you have them be the Balor Club. You've already got a lot of T-shirts and jackets and bandanas and all that shit out there with merchandised with the Balor Club. You might as well do something with it, with all these people that have been buying it for a year and a half now. We'll see what happens. I'm guessing that SmackDown sort of invades Raw tonight to show off that they have the championship. You've got Ambrose show up with the championship. Maybe you do Ambrose versus Rollins yet one more time. I don't know if maybe they go in the direction of doing Reigns versus Rollins for the so-called new championship. And I'm guessing Stephanie McMahon's going to be wanting to debut for the fact that, you know, they only have one championship on. Well, they have two championships. They've got the United States Championship with Rusev, and then you've got the Divas Championship with Charlotte. When you look at the United States Championship, you know, are they going to be doing Mojo Rawley versus Rusev? That's sort of even more of a downgrade than the last match, which was Zack Ryder against Rusev. You need to make that championship mean something. I know that there's guys high on the card and guys low on the card. A lot of times they bring in guys from NXT and they get big surprise victories. I'm not real pumped about Mojo Rawley winning the United States Championship, even though I do like Mojo Rawley and I like the character that he has of getting hyped up, and I think it is a lot of who he is in real life. You know, the Divas thing that's going on with Charlotte and Dana Brooke. You have the debuting Bayley. I haven't been as pumped for somebody to debut in WWE, honestly, in a long time other than Bayley. Bayley was like a feel-good story. I know that I really never saw her wrestle in the Indies, but her being from this area and, you know, going to the and meeting her mom and stuff like that and the fans at the NXT show here in Sacramento. I mean, it is a really good feel-good story of her making it WWE. Of course, you also have like the whole thing that went down on Breaking Ground with the big Sasha Banks versus Bayley match at NXT TakeOver, and them showing the letters that they wrote in high school, basically saying that their dream was to be wrestlers and they didn't just get into the business to make money. This is what they've wanted to do since they were little kids and things like that. So when it comes down to it, Finn Balor, Ambrose in the championship, Rollins and Reigns, Charlotte. Bayley's debut. You know, her coming in and helping out Charlotte. A lot of people with the whole Divas thing. What doesn't make sense to me, honestly, is that Bayley comes in, she helps out Sasha Banks. Everybody has thought that Sasha is going to be getting her spotlight at SummerSlam. Since she was so great at WrestleMania, they didn't want to really make it the sort of dog days of after WrestleMania be to Sasha Banks' time, and she got put on the sideline for a long time. But you know, her getting a big match against Charlotte. But Bayley shows up and helps her beat her at Battleground in a tag match. You know, they're able to beat Charlotte and Dana Brooke. But now Bayley's going to be going back to NXT. She's not really on the main roster. I guess she's in her back pocket. And maybe at SummerSlam she doesn't win either. Maybe they just do the same thing over again where Dana Brooke jumps in the ring, causes a disqualification. Then Bayley really debuts and comes up to help out Sasha. But I'm glad to see Bayley come up to the main roster. I mean, I'm really pumped to see her up there. I mean, like, to me, honestly, like, she's not the best women's wrestler in the world. It's just sort of like that character. Reminds me a lot of like Molly Holly back in the day. Molly Holly was a great wrestler. Bayley, to me, honestly, hasn't really blown me away, but she is awesome. But we'll have to see. I don't really know much about what's going down on Raw. Hopefully we'll see something better. Well, that's the Intercontinental Championship's on SmackDown, so we won't see Darren Young against The Miz again. But we'll see. Peace out.